And I'm here with Mike Taylor Jr., and we're going to talk a little bit about Mike's racing career tonight. Mike, I guess the names Dennis Gann, Ed Knoll, and some of the fellows from that era kind of bring back some fond memories for you.
Oh yeah, that's who I grew up watching, was Dennis and Mouse and Ed Knoll and Eddie Atkins, all those guys that you just used to beat and bang every night all the way to the front.
I have to agree with you. It was probably some of the funnest racing I've watched in the many, many years that I've been going to the races. And of course, talking about that era, I think the thing that I remember specifically was always watching Gene Claxton coming from the back.
Absolutely. No matter where you went and watched the race, if Gene was there, he had to start in the back because he won the week before, and somehow he always got right back to the front.
You know, it's something that I just want to touch on. It's funny how many guys, I'm going to say, of your generation that I've talked to that grew up going to the races at the old Lakeside, Riverside, places like that. Really great track.
Oh, yeah. I was probably, I don't know, about 6, 7 years old the first time my dad took me to the races, and I was hooked the first time. If it was loud and went fast, I wanted something to do with it.
It was awful appetizing is all I can say.
Absolutely.
I never actually got in one myself, but like you say, the excitement and everything that went on was just a lot of fun to be around.
Right.
In 1999, though, you do finally get a start in racing with your first car. Tell us how you got the car and what it was.
We started thinking we were going to go get us a race car. We wanted to go racing, and we were looking through the newspaper and found a couple cars and went and looked at, and ended up going down to Adrian and buying a stock car from Adrian. It was one of those old Laguna Chevelles.
Yeah.
And man, we didn't have a clue what we were doing. We were just out there making laps and hoping we could make a lap without spinning out. It was a rough year.
Just not too sure about any of the adjustments or anything. Just get out there and drive it.
Oh yeah, get out there and just drive it as hard as you could. And the last race we raced that year, 4 or 5 weeks before the end of the season, ended up upside down. Well, I'm either broke in or I need to quit doing this one or the other.
Oh shoot! In 2002, though, you kind of get it together a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
You get a feature win up at Savannah.
Yeah.
Now this was still in street stocks.
Yeah, we had built a new car the second year. Ed Klein and Adrian Witham helped me build a car over the winter that year, and we had a pretty good year racing up at I-35 and raced up there until Castro wasn't there anymore, and then we went to Savannah, and we had a good time at Savannah until we had motor problems towards the end of the year. And then it seemed like after the night we won, just every time we turned around we were blowing up or breaking something.
Lady Luck can really put her thumb on you occasionally.
Got that monkey on my back.
2003, 2006, you sit out those years to start a business, and of course that's where we're at here tonight. AAA transmission over here, like I say, I guess you could call it friendly Northtown. It's really Kansas City, Missouri, but I want to give them a plug here.
There you go.
Letting us use their facility here tonight to film in. But Ben, it had to be tough setting out. I mean, once a guy gets into racing, it seems like it's really hard for him to get away from it.
Yeah, I helped Jimmy Atkins when he had Grand National. He was racing out there. Helped Jim for a while, and then I quit going and just never went to the races anymore. And then Tim Shields is a friend of mine. He asked me if I'd start pitting for him and helping him.
Yeah.
And I couldn't take it. I made it through about 3/4 of a season, and I said, you know what, I got to build a car.
In the last half of 2006, though, you have a street stock that comes along, and you start to get back into racing, back out at Lakeside. How difficult was it after racing at all those short tracks up north, Savannah, I-35? Did you race at Osborne?
Yeah, I've raced.
Okay, the small tracks up north, to go out to Lakeside and start running out there competitively.
Once you got past that idea that it's time to lift and it's not time to lift, it was all right. You can get around there, but when does it ever stop? You just keep going, and the straightaway just keeps going and going and going. But it took a couple weeks to adjust, and after that, we were able to get up there and mix it up and at least run in the front half of the pack most of the time if we didn't have any bad luck.
Did it take a little bit of time to adjust to the competition out there? Because I'm sure coming in, like I say, from the small tracks and those guys that have been running there all the time, and it had to take you a little while to boy, see what those guys got going.
Absolutely. And you get out, if you want to be competitive out there at Lakeside, I mean, everybody's got good stuff, but you take cars that run up north and this and that, good stuff up there isn't always the same as good stuff at Lakeside because it's so hard on equipment, and you learn real fast. You got to be on top of your game every single week.
I was going to say, we could probably just have one whole discussion about the difference in the equipment between, like you say, what runs on the short tracks and what runs out there, because boy, Lakeside is really tough track.
It is.
Really tests everything that you've got.
The track's probably the hardest thing on your car at Lakeside is the track.
Yeah. Is it because it's rough or just the size of it?
The size.
The size.
In my opinion.
Okay. Let's move on. In 2008, we pretty much gets us up to where we are now, and that is that you start into the Grand National class, and you buy Smith's old Grand National, and from what I understand, what you were telling me, that first year with the car was not exactly what you were hoping it would be.
We didn't have a clue what we were doing.
It had to be difficult going from street stocks to what I understand.
We tore up a lot of stuff. I'm sure Huey liked it a lot, but it was tough on us.
So it was, there again, a whole new learning curve. Like I say, a 4-bar car.
Absolutely nothing the same. And run the same kind of tires. And other than that, the car doesn't work the same, doesn't handle the same. You don't adjust anything the same. It's totally different. So a complete new learning curve again.
Yeah. I was going to say, just me alone, if I had never had a 4-bar car, just to stand and look at the rear end on one of them would totally confuse me, because I would be going, okay, wonder what that bar does.
Yep.
That's about where you were.
That looks pretty neat.
You know, it's a shame they don't give sort of a instruction booklet with these things.
Well, you can buy books, tell you how to do everything, and you do it, and it just doesn't seem to work.
It doesn't work the way they say, huh?
No.
So the first year was a lot of frustration.
It was tough. But you know, we came back again.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we struggled a lot with it, and we decided to make the car a 2-link for the 09 season, and that made it a lot easier as far as adjustment and learn to drive the car, and we had a pretty good year in 09.
I was going to say, 3rd place in the points in 09, so, you know, that's nothing to sneeze at, and if I remember correctly, there were probably really 3 opportunities that you had to win features that just didn't turn out.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
And now I'm trying to remember, was it the Grand National that you were telling me you made the highlight reel?
No, that was my well, actually, yeah, I did in the Grand National the first night out of 09. I was involved in that big crash on the back straightaway, and they put me on in the pits for the wreck of the week.
There again, not the way to start the season out.
And I don't know how many people told us there was no way we'd be out the next week, and we had a lot of nights till midnight, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and we were back out the next week.
Back out the next week.
Yeah, I don't ever want to repeat that. But
I was going to say, if you finish 3rd in the points, you had to have...
Once you get it in your blood, you can't stop, though. I mean, it's like getting snake bit. It's there, and it's going to run through your veins, and you're going to keep going every single week.
Yeah. Who are some of your favorite competitors that you like to compete against at Lakeside? I know you mentioned Tim Shields. He's a friend of yours.
Tim's fun to race against. Chad Clancy, I raced against him in street stocks up at Winston. You know, back when I first started out, the first couple of years. Chad's a lot of fun to drive with. Brad's good to drive with. Gary Donaldson's fun to drive with. You know, there's probably 6 or 8 of them that are just fun. I mean, Darren Kling, you know, you can race with him, and there's, like I said, probably 6 or 8 of them. It's just fun to race with them every week. Yeah. And because they're not going to hit you on purpose. You get in there and you just race each other.
Right. As far as I'm concerned, the Grand National class last year was probably as competitive as it's been in a few years. I mean,
for sure,
there were probably 4 or 5 guys that were capable of winning a race. Mike, we're getting down here to just a few seconds left. Who would you like to thank for helping you with the race team?
Northland Tow, they help us a lot. Extreme Colors does all our paint for us. Signs by Mouse, and of course AAA Transmission. But if it wasn't for Gary Parker, we wouldn't be out there every week. He helps us a lot. My dad, Mark Shields, he helps me. He works for me and helps me. There's a long list of people. Gary's daughter, she's always helping anytime she can, Tony. My kids for putting up with Dad racing, Audrey, Bubba, Natalie, and Caitlin, they're supporting Dad every week, and there again, they put up with it. So.
Okay. I think we're about out of time, folks.